moved. And we're going to have to work hard together to do that. So the status of LEAs is Power School, of course, is just killing it. So anybody that's with that should congratulate themselves. They are a great team. They work together. And I'm sure the others are too. EduPoint, our statewide SIS, these things are about the same. They're the same system. Schoolmasters is out there kicking. We've just been slow this month. We're about at 30%, is that right, Anish?
That's right.
So 30%.
30%.
That was a legislative question that I have to give them paperwork by today in order to tell them, yes, ma'am.
Hi, we are on EduPoint, so I'm just wondering, given that it is a statewide SIS, do you guys have any leverage with them? Because, for example, our district cannot move to AZADs because we're waiting on them to resolve state reporting issue. So, like, I'm kind of getting frustrated to hear, like, yeah, it's going well, but it's not, and I don't know how to put more pressure on EduPoint.
Will you be, good question, and I can call, I have Bob Weather's phone number in my cell phone. But what I'd like you to do first is today, in that session, say that.
Oh, trust me, I will.
And if that does not, they don't give you a satisfactory answer, write me an email.
I will.
And then I will take that, but give them an opportunity. I don't want to throw them under the bus.
I've been given an opportunity since August, so let's be clear, it's not.
And I don't have all the facts, so I don't want to.
Yeah, no, okay.
But good. These are LEAs by the vendors and the grand total of what we've done. We were really, initiatives and Lori's team, we were meeting goals until January. But we stopped because we didn't want to mess up charters. Once we figured out there was a big enough problem, we had to stop and fix it. And I believe Lyle was confident at this stage that once we finish our processing for the 100-day, and oh, by the way, this 100-day, I want to just give you some good news. So integrity in AZEDs. Every day, we dirty the flags on it every day. So it's all student records every day on AZEDs. 16 hours is what we had it down to. It was 3.5 days. Integrity is, what, 3 days to run? And we do a lot of copy backs and something like that, 2 to 3 days to run on the sales.
On sales, yeah.
My goal is to get, because that's dirtying every flag, 1.2 million. We don't need to do that every day. But my goal is to get that down to 4 to 6 hours. What does that mean? Data push happens right after. I mean, aggregation happens right after. ACE flies too. It flies. So the days that you've been waiting to see data, next year you won't have those days. School finance will be able to do their work faster than waiting for us to do ours. And that's a good news. 42% of LEAs are scheduled. Does that mean I have 72%? I was going to ask this.
Sure.
I have 72% of the state scheduled. And I'm very excited that if we can help you get there. All SIS vendors are ready to support their clients making the move to ASCUS. All SIS vendors. Some of the challenges we've got is districts are not, and I will not ever put anybody under the bus. You work in conditions I don't know because I'm not there. So there's a lot of concern from districts that, what's going to happen. So they are, I don't know if they're just concerned. So for some of the districts, we're working very closely, these one of the big ones, trying to help them ease their concerns and trying to show them that this is their data. That's all I can say. I want Lori to talk about something because I heard, and before I put her on the microphone, I heard loud and clear that, and I got my survey back from external from you, and I got the big varsity loser flag. I went from a 4.1 the year before to a 3.4. I heard loud and clear, well, what did I do this year? I implemented ADE Connect, I implemented AZ-, I implemented AZs. And my staffing was not moving at the pace of the change. You were calling my phones and nobody was answering. Or we answered or we didn't give you the right answer. We blew you off. Yeah, I heard it. And it's not because the people in the support center aren't good people. It has nothing to do with that. It has things to do with the process. And we weren't mature enough to have the process for the scale that we grew. Oh, I forgot SSIS customers. You know, the largest SSIS implementation that EduPoint did in a whole year was 24. Why did I think we could do 48? That was a problem. You know, probably shouldn't have done 48 because we weren't ready to answer the questions. We are now because we've been getting great training from Synergy. They help us every time, get us up to speed, and we're getting better. So I just wanted to point out that I paid attention. If anybody's fault, it's me for not anticipating the load, the process, and everything else. But Lori is going to briefly talk about what she's doing to help make you get more confidence back in ours.
What was I thinking? No. So Mark came to me a couple times over the past year or so and said, don't you want to take support? And I'm like, no, I don't want to take support. But I thought, you know what? I have a really great relationship with you on the outreach side, right? Helping you do whatever you need to do to implement all these things. You know, ALIS is a big package, right? We did, well, it started back in the day 4 years ago when I started with STC, right? We rolled that out, and that was painful. And then we did ADE Connect and AZ-. Then we did, if you chose to come on board, we did SIS, right? Now we're also rolling out AZs, you know, and that's not been, well, that's been crazy. And so, so I said, okay, I'll do it. So that was December 7th. I guess that was an early Christmas present. I don't know. But so what I've done, and first off, whatever we've done with the outreach, the philosophy of bending over backwards to help you in any way we can, pointing you in the direction, getting up from our desk. That's sometimes I just marvel at people that just hide behind emails, you know. Get up and go find someone to get the answer and then come back to your desk and pick up the phone or email you or something. But get up, stop, you know, hiding. So a lot of times now I walk out of my office and I don't see any support people, they're gone. And I'm like, where are you guys? They're like, we're getting up. So that's a good thing, right? But so anyway, what I did was I didn't go in and, you know, do this, right? Because there's a lot of good things that were going on. And so what I did was I just kind of stepped back and just kind of listened and watched and analyzed and just kind of dug in. Mark gave me a beautiful Christmas present by giving me what's called a support coach. There is a gentleman that I have for 60 days that, I'd like 61 at least, but 60 days who I meet with him every day in the morning and then in the afternoon, twice a day. And he has been running support centers since day one. I know how to love on the peeps, right? And I know how to try to do anything that I can to help you. But I've never run a support center, but I know how to treat people. And so he knows, this guy, that his name is Jerry, has come in and he knows how to take things from the ground up. Running a support center, building it, putting processes in place, so on and so forth. He's taught me so much and I am just a sponge. I've probably texted or emailed this gentleman, Mark Masterson, probably 15 times since I've had Jerry. Thank you so much, you know, because I'm eating it up. I need to, right? So some of the things that we've looked at, we instituted what's called a daily schedule. I was marveled when I went in and found out after 4 years, we had one person supporting STC. So I said, no. So in 3 weeks, we now have 4 people submitting or supporting STC. So what we've done is we've created a daily schedule for people. I went through and interviewed, so to speak, sat and talked to each one of those support analysts. What are you most comfortable supporting? What are you really good at? What do you need improvement on? So on and so forth, and built this big matrix for the staff. We have 7 major applications that we support. And so the goal is that every single one of them will at least be a level 1 on those 7. And then we'll also build in level 2 for each one of those. So they have a daily schedule where they have uninterrupted, they have phone time, they have ticket time where it's, think about it. Excuse me. You're in a very complicated trying to solve something, say AZs, whatever, you're on different screens, so on and so forth. What happens? The phone rings, I need a password reset, right? So they have to go and reset, whatnot, and then they go, okay, where was I? And then go back into that. That interrupts your ticket time. That interrupts you getting the service that you deserve and that you need. So they have uninterrupted ticket time every day. Still have 3 people on the phone at all time. I'm gonna try it. If we run into a situation where we've got backed up, whatnot, we'll reevaluate, but that's what we're gonna do. The other thing that we're doing is I built in training time for each one of them throughout the day, an hour and a half, where they get the skills and the needed application knowledge to be able to support you better. We're gonna try it and see how it works. So it's 4 hours on the phone, 2 hours on ticket, and another 2 hours on training. If it's not working, let me know. Also, they didn't know that there's reports. We have a support portal called Service Manager, which will be coming to you in May. I'm so excited. You'll be able to track your tickets, so on and so forth, but that's coming in May. Not yet, there yet, but they have this and we're never shown the reports. So now I have them pulling a daily report on their own activity, what they have open, what is still pending third party, what is, waiting responses, whatnot. So they're using that daily, and in the 2 days where we started doing that, we closed 50 tickets in 2 days. And I know that seems like, well, you should be. Well, yeah, we should be. But it was just amazing to look at the data. They're now actually taking ownership of it and looking at it. So it was a good thing. Synergy support. I was just with Mr. Paul Vance yesterday, building a new training plan to make sure that all analysts are level 1 on the statewide student information system. So we've got a 3-prong approach. We're also building a knowledge base. A lot of times, when I get up here, sometimes I can't breathe because I get nervous. Sorry. I shouldn't be nervous in front of you guys by now. We're also building a knowledge base. So a lot of times what I also noticed is that they get up and I'd walk over and I go, hey, how do you do such and such? Well, what does that do? That takes me off of your time that you deserve on a ticket, right? And it takes this person's time as well. I want to encourage collaboration, obviously. We all know and learn from each other. But we didn't have a base of how do I find something? So we're now building a knowledge base. They kind of shot arrows at me yesterday because I rolled all this out to them, and I'm requiring 2 knowledge bases a week from them. So, and we have 10 people. So within, we're going to have a knowledge base very quickly and search it and be able to use it and so on and so forth. Service Manager for Public Use, I told you that. That's coming in May. Escalation paths defined. Boy, that's a hot topic. What do I do when I don't know how to do something? When do I send it to the next level? That's where I'm really using Jerry, my coach. So he's helping me with that, but we're defining them and utilizing them as we go along. We also are communicating with our internal ADE units. I just found out that there's going to be a new online teacher certification. People still have to drive from like Flagstaff down, and it's crazy. Anyway, it's all going to be online, and I found out that we're going to be supporting that as well. So one of the things that I promised the team was you will not get, this is what's happening. Does it ever happen in your world? There's a new application, and then it just gets thrown over. Hey, you're now supporting this. Well, no. So I've stopped that, and with Mark's support, they no longer support something, and just, hey, 8 a.m. today, you're supporting this. So we're asking for training and documentation before we actually try to support you on something. And then we instituted some ticket triage. So just to let you know what happens, you send the ticket in, and I have one, now I have 3, that look at that ticket, evaluate it, and then assign it to one of the analysts. So we have improved on that by adding 2 more. There for a while, I'll be very honest, we were 3 days behind on even grabbing your ticket to look at it. No longer happening. So the goal is 10 or less in the queue at the end of the day. 10 or less. So your tickets are moving a lot faster. So anyway, I'll take any suggestions.
Thank you, Lori.
So, where's my little clicker? Paste. Stands.
Will you share this slide?
Yes, they will put it on your website. Do-it-yourself IT solutions, right? I'm from tech support. That is such a cool slide. Because that's what a customer thinks sometimes, right? You all have the same, I still amazed at people when they tell me, well, why can't I just buy this thing off the shelf for $365? I can buy Microsoft Office for $365. And I can load it and it works. Look how powerful it is. It costs Microsoft a couple $100 billion to make Microsoft Office. And they make a lot of millions and billions off the software. Okay, people, our customers, your customers, they don't understand the complexity of this. And it's tough for us to convince. You have the same challenge I have with my program areas, with my associates. What, this legislature? I gave you all this money, why isn't it done already? They don't understand that I've been spending $1.5 million this year trying to support you guys moving to ASCUS. That was not in my budget. I thought that I would just turn the switch, like I would do in the private industry. You're going to start on this day, and we'll just ride the ride. That's coming though, July 1st. Red flag. Sign up for red flag alerts for AZ's updates. We don't so much put SACE updates on red flag right now. That's why, because you can use it so you know what's going on with AZs. As we transition you to AZs, this is critical. 100% of you got to be on this. Because this is how we're going to communicate to you about emergency things. So you're aware. So that you can go tell your boss, this is what's going on.
So is the IT bulletin board going away?
No. We're here there.
In addition,
This is just trying to keep better. The one thing I've learned in technology, the thing that's done the least is communication. We just assume you know. And I'm sometimes bad at that, but I'm probably really good at it compared to most technologies. Because these guys hate me. Because every minute of the day I'm asking, did you communicate? Did you tell your customer this is going on? Did you tell? People forgive you if you talk to them. If you surprise them, they're still pissed. I mean, even though when you tell them they're pissed. But what? It's like beating a wounded animal, you know? They're coming and telling you they're wounded. You don't want to beat a wounded animal. So I understand. This is the instructions on how to do this. This will be in the slide deck, so you don't need to try to write it down. You can receive alerts. You guys set it up. So once you sign up, you set it up. There's instructions. If you want emails going to everybody in your organization, you can. I don't recommend that. But I recommend the business officer. I recommend you. I recommend the IT director, depending on what role. Some of that's on you. Some of it's all of you, because you do everything. But make use of this. I do spend a significant amount of money to offer this service, but it's something that I think is critical. Because it is a cloud-based solution, so if I'm down, we still can communicate. That was what frustrated me the worst, is when we're down, how do I talk to you? How do I let you know? I can tell you an example at Vail. At one time we went down, and I was hosting at that time AZ or K-12. I think Norm remembers. It was a Saturday, and I didn't know anybody was doing anything. ADUA brought me down, but, so that means all of your SIS vendors that were pointed to K-12, you were down too. So that's now hosted in another cloud. So even if we go down, that's never down. So as I find out things, they're done. This is gonna turn into a ramble. I'm gonna turn this over. I'm not leaving, but we've got tight time and I respect your time. I wanted to tell you what I'm doing, where I'm up to, and I hope this was where you wanted to hear. I want to turn it over to Randall and let him do his spiel. And then if there's time at the end, I'll take questions. And as you know, I always answer emails. Those of you that have emailed me knows that I do respond. And everybody hates when I respond in my department because I respond to a lot of people. But
Just one thing about this.
you're talking, so you can take over.
I'll take over. So last time when we were at ASCUS, we actually sat in with the SIS vendors and we grabbed a lot of the questions and we documented and we went and got answers. That's the URL to the answers from the last ASCUS meeting. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew that you could go there, get the answers, and that when we do the same thing this afternoon, we'll go through the SIS vendors, we'll capture the question and capture the answers, and we'll make sure we get them posted as well. From all the breakouts. So we're trying to increase our communication, and this is one of the avenues we're doing.
And we're trying to make sure that employees, when you're in those, I have a lot of respect for the vendors. It's their time. We're there just to listen and not be part of, and that's something that's very clear to my team, is we're there to listen. But we'll take notes and get back to them. But this is your time with your vendor, and I very much respect the fact that you invited us so we can hear your issues. Because it's your relationship, and I don't want to hurt your relationships. It's you and your customer, and you're their customer. But if we collectively can work better together, that's an awesome experience. And that's what I want to do for all vendors. So with that, let's turn it over to Randall. You're going to do your little, and I'm here. I'm not leaving. There's an Einstein's close, I might drive there.
So Keith is actually going to be driving, and we're not going to do a presentation. What we're actually going to do is walk you through what we have for ways to communicate. How many people here remember, I think it was a few ASCUS ago, I actually asked, what were the top 5 things that stress people out? And one of them was moving. Do people remember that? How many are feeling the stress right now because we're moving over to AZs?
Oh, hands aren't up too high. That's awesome. It's the Xanax in the coffee. Don't rush that to the pot.
I know from my team's aspect that we're stressed, mainly because I kind of listened to the few choice words and how many we have now versus what we've had last year. They've gone up probably around 3 or 4 times. Other than offering my team group hugs, which I can't do that for you, we're going to talk through 3 communication channels where we're actually going to provide you information to help you through this, because I can't promise it's going to be less stressful and I can't reduce the stress, but what I can do is provide you information on what's going on and walk you through where you can get it to try to help with it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our system status page. And by the way, if you're on AZEDS or not, you can sign up and you can, through your entity admins, have access to the reports and this system status page. So through ADE Connect, everybody has access to this. This page is going to be critical when we start communicating things out. In the past, I always thought, well, we're collecting data, what can we show you? Reports. That's not true. We can show you the jobs that are happening behind the scenes that are impacting the reports. So just to walk you through this, on the upper left-hand corner where it says REST API status is green, it's available, that means you can submit data in AZEDS. We're up and running. If it's yellow or red, yellow means there's going to be some slow performance, and if it's red, we're down. These other jobs, the SACE to AZEDs and the AZEDs to SACE, those are the jobs that transfer data back and forth between SACE. We have this little plus sign. So first of all, AZEDs to SACE shows it started on February 9th. That was the last time we sent the data over from AZEDs into SACE. We're showing you that it completed on the 9th, but we had a lot of failures. So if the failures happen, then that means the data didn't get sent over and we're looking at it. And I can tell you I'm on a call at 8:30 every morning looking at this screen with everybody in operations as we're talking through what went wrong or what could be going wrong. So you see from SACE to AZEDs, it didn't happen February 2nd, but it did happen February 12th and on the 9th.
Quick clarification.
Yes?
So on the ASCUS to SACE, when I looked at that, I was assuming that the 5, 6, 7 failed, but completed on the 9th. Is that not right?
No, the fact that this failure, and I can tell you what happened, we forgot to turn the job off.
But I mean, did all those 3 fail, go through successfully on the 9th and complete? Or am I looking at that wrong?
Is it accumulated or not?
Is it accumulated? That's a good question. It's not accumulated, and so what ends up happening is, well, I take that back when I say it's not accumulated. When the job completes, that means all the files are successful out of AZEDs and they've been generated.
Even those failed ones?
Even those fails, that means that the file wasn't generated. And then later on, I'll show you the Train 99 report, how to get to it, and that then shows you where you are in the queue for getting the files into SACE. That was a good question, thank you for that.
What question about AE Connect role? What role do you use?
Any role that's needed for reports automatically gives you this.
So there's 5 AZ data coordinator roles, and we split out base reports, SPEC, ELL, and the other ones, but if you give anybody access to any one of those roles to see any reports, they'll have access to this page.
Hey, Randall?
Yeah.
Randall, I think there's a little bit of confusion on the SACE to AZ and AZ to SACE. So if you're submitting to AZ, this is my understanding.
I think I know where you're going with that.
Okay, so a little bit of confusion. I think that we need to clear up which schools are going SACE to AZs and which ones are AZs to SACE. So if you're submitting to AZs, then your data is going from AZs to SACE. If you're not on AZs, your data is going from SACE to AZs, right? So if those that are submitting to AZs, our data is not coming back. It's going one direction.
Correct. Is it still, yeah. And thank you for that clarification, because before I go to questions, I do want to kind of get through some of this. So let me just do a little clarification with these two jobs. Between AZEDs and SACE, the two systems are synchronized. Right now we're paying out of SACE. You're either in one of these two jobs in the fact that if you're submitting through SACE, then your data in SACE is there, and it goes all the way into AZEDs. If you're submitting in AZEDs, this job means then you're more looking at this one saying when your data has gone into SACE. How many people here have actually gone in and looked at the AZEDs reports, but they're still on SACE? Okay.
That's awesome.
So, but why are you doing that? Why are you pushing the data back someplace where I'm not there yet? We're not live, we're still saying.
I'll get to that in a minute. Because the next job is the integrity status, right? Our integrity job in AZEDs. When we run the integrity job in AZEDs, it's a statewide integrity job that we're testing. That's why we're pushing data from SACE down into AZEDs. So not only can we do a load test and do the performance tuning of AZEDs that's needed, so next year we won't have anything, but we're actually testing our job and finding things out. Now the integrity job, we have, and as we submit data, and it grows over the years of what data we're collecting through AZEDs, these jobs will grow. But right now, we've got 3 jobs: the ADM, the SPED, and the ELL. For a statewide recount, we've scheduled for Saturday nights to run. This last Saturday, February 6th, it kicked off at 1:12 in the morning, and it finished February 6th at 3:24 p.m. So that's less than 15 hours for a statewide recount of integrity. When we started, it took 110 hours. So we've been working and tuning it down to get to that 15 hours, and there's still more work to do.